This is VOA News. In Washington, I'm Jeff Custer. Russian President Vladimir Putin delivered a fiery address at his country's Victory Day parade Tuesday in Moscow's Red Square. But for all his tough talk, international observers say the annual event was more modest than in recent years. Russian military expert Kir Giles with Britain's Chatham House think tank told the Associated Press the Moscow event was definitely more scaled down than in recent years.
There were no military aircraft flying over Red Square, and fewer pieces of military equipment were displayed. For the first time in years, the parade ended in under an hour. The pared-down celebrations come after ambiguous official reports last week that 2 Ukrainian drones flew into the heart of Moscow under the cover of darkness and reached the Kremlin before being shot down. The Kremlin billed it as an attempt on Putin's life. Ukraine's denied involvement.
That was AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma, not Kir Giles. My apologies. Hours before Putin's speech, Russian forces attacked Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, with a barrage of missiles. Ukrainian officials said the country's air defense systems destroyed most of the missiles and that there were no casualties or major damage reported. Correspondent Anna Chernikova was in Kyiv during the missile attacks and shared her experiences with VOA's Flashpoint Ukraine program.
Massive one consists of, at first, with 8 missiles in the eastern part of the country, and it was followed with another 17 missiles. And this attack started at 4 o'clock in the morning and lasted until 6 o'clock in the morning for 2 hours. And I can tell you that the city of Kyiv experienced, and Kyiv region experienced, very loud 2 hours. So air defense was constantly in action.
From his Telegram social media account, Kyiv's city military administration chief Sergei Popko said the attack was the 5th targeting the capital since the start of May. This is VOA News. The UN Refugee Agency says hundreds of thousands of Sudanese have fled their homes since violence broke out last week between two armed factions fighting for control of the North African nation. Speaking remotely to a news briefing in Geneva, International Organization for Migration spokesman Paul Dillon said Tuesday the number of people driven from their homes by the fighting has more than doubled in a week.
Now, more than 700,000 people are now internally displaced by the fighting, which began on the 15th of April, according to this latest data.
The IOM said an additional 100,000 Sudanese have fled the country altogether. The new figures were released a day after envoys from both warring factions met for a third day of talks in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The talks are aimed at allowing humanitarian aid to reach hundreds of thousands in need of food, shelter, and medical care in Khartoum and other Sudanese cities after more than 3 weeks of fighting. Former U.S. President and current U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump will appear in a town hall forum on U.S. cable news network CNN Wednesday. Associated Press correspondent Jennifer King reports.
Who can forget this quote from an April 2016 appearance in Racine, Wisconsin?
Nobody has greater respect for women than Donald Trump. Nobody.
Or this virtual town hall on Fox News Channel less than 2 weeks after the nation began to shut down because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I would love to have the country opened up and just raring to go by Easter.
Trump will be doing a CNN town hall forum at St. Anselm College in New Hampshire on Wednesday night, moderated by Caitlin Collins, and taking questions from an audience of Republican primary voters. While Trump continually attacked CNN as fake news during his presidency, a Trump advisor who spoke on condition of anonymity said CNN executives made a compelling pitch to the former president. The network says given Trump's standing in polls with Republican voters, his candidacy can't be ignored, reflecting management's efforts to broaden the network's reach and rebuild trust as a nonpartisan news brand. I'm Jennifer King.
China Tuesday announced the expulsion of a Canadian diplomat in retaliation for Canada ordering a Chinese consular official to leave over alleged threats he made against a Canadian lawmaker and his family. China's foreign ministry Tuesday said China was deploying a reciprocal countermeasure with what they called Canada's unscrupulous move. Canada's foreign ministry earlier Tuesday announced the government was expelling a Chinese diplomat whom Canada's intelligence agency said was involved in a plot to intimidate opposition conservative lawmaker Michael Chong and his relatives in Hong Kong. Chong has been a vocal critic of China's treatment of its Muslim Uyghur ethnic group in the Xinjiang region. In Washington, I'm Jeff Custer. This is VOA News.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comments section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.